Hi, this is Daniel from Hiking and Survival in Japan. I want to thank everyone for their support and their kind comments about the overnight camp and hike in Shiga that I did there last weekend. Today I just wanted to do a video on all the items I brought with me on that hike. Basically, when the hike was being planned, different things had been said and different ideas of where we were going had been thrown back and forward, and so on the day that I was going, I still wasn't too sure exactly what we were going to do. I had a map and an idea of the area we were going into, but as I had never been there, I didn't know what my hiking partner's ideas were as regards to overnight stay. And because of this, I had planned for many different options. Too many options, to be honest with you, and I ended up carrying way too much with me, which I shouldn't have had to bring with me. That's my fault for not planning more and finding out more information from my hiking partner about where we were going and exactly what I would need for that type of hike. But we all learn from our mistakes. Now, luckily, the stuff that I did bring with me was sufficient and could cope with most occasions, if not all occasions, and it did perfectly fine for me. But it meant that I did have other kit with me that was redundant and really wasn't needed for that hike, and my pack could have been lighter. But I just want to go over everything that I did bring with you and explain the reasons why I did bring it, and might give you guys some ideas in the future about what you might need to bring on such an overnight hike, or answer some questions about should you bring something, or what you can do with it if you do bring it, and things like that. Okay, so I'm just going to bring you in now and go through each and every item that I actually brought with me. Okay, first of all, I'm going to go through what I was actually wearing on the actual 2-day hike. I'm going to go through everything, so don't be embarrassed, guys. I'm going to start from the bottom, work my way up. Basically a heavy duty pair of wool synthetic mix socks to keep my feet nice and warm. These are heavily padded around the toes and heels and underneath, and actually then have pieces on the top to actually let out a lot of the heat and moisture, but still keeping your toes nice and warm. These are pretty long socks, so they're really nice to wear. They did really well. Next thing, of course, is don't wear cotton underwear, because that's just going to get soaking wet and cause more problems for you later on. So any type of breathable synthetic underwear is also a very good thing to go with. The next base layer that I wore then actually was a very old Berghaus t-shirt. I've had this one now well over 13-14 years. As you can see, the Berghaus labels have all come off, but the t-shirt is still working very well. That was extremely good now as well. Next on that then, I had this LL Bean hiking shirt. I've had this also for a good number of years, at least about 7 years now, and it's probably one of the best pieces of kit that I've ever bought. It cost me about, I think, 30 euros from the LA Bean shop here in Kobe, and it's the only item of LA Bean that I've ever bought. I did buy it originally as a summer shirt because it has UV protection on it as well, but it really works well as a hiking shirt because it's made of, again, it's a polyester cotton ripstop fabric, which means then it doesn't really soak up that much moisture. This one is really hard wearing and it doesn't bobble at all, which is really nice. I've had it for a number of years. It's got 2 chest pockets, and it has then actually 2 mat pockets on either side as well, which can be used for ventilation during the summertime. So that's what I had. Next, on the bottom I had a pair of Army Combats, and then a German wool jumper, army jumper, on top. Now, this was one of the layers then that I could either put on or take off as needed. What's great about this then, of course, is everyone knows that even if you get soaking wet, the wool will still keep you warm and keep you insulated, and it does actually offer a piece of waterproofing as well. Anybody who wears wool, everyone nowadays has gone off to total synthetic type of equipment for hiking, but you cannot beat wool, and you'll find a lot of experienced hikers are moving back to wool products because they're finding them very good to wear. So that overall was my base layers that I was wearing on me at the time of the actual hike. As regards to what I was using to sleep in and use as my shelter, first of all I had my Snugpak Merlin Softy 3. I had also brought the there it is. This is the Nature Hike summer sleeping bag, which actually has a shower proofing on the outside of the actual sleeping bag. This is only a summer one, so it actually goes down to limit down to 9 degrees and comfort of 15. This was more to do with padding on the actual ground, as well as just a wrap over then to go with that. I also then had my Snugpak Special Forces bivy bag, which went over my Merlin. Two of them combined actually double up the durability of this Merlin sleeping bag, and actually makes it a lot warmer as well. This really was the best piece of kit that I had, because when condensation built up on the inside of my basher and got everything else soaking wet, my Merlin sleeping bag was still bone dry, I was still bone dry and lovely and warm because of this bivy bag. So don't underestimate the good qualities of a good bivy bag. You don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds or euros on a Gore-Tex one. Snugpak do a pretty good one. Now this does have its limitations, and I talked about that in another video, so if you want to know about any of these items, check out my other videos. I did bring this travel pillow, neck pillow with me as well. I was hoping to get a square one, which I actually got today, so this will be replaced, but I did have this as a part of my sleeping thing. In the end I didn't use it because it's only a neck piece, so it didn't really work. Besides wearing my clothes because they weren't wet, the other items that I wore inside the sleeping bag, then I had an extra pair of room socks, which I just put over my other socks to keep my feet that little bit of extra insulation, and then I did actually sleep inside my Snugpak Softy jacket as well. This combined with the sleeping system meant that I was lovely and warm right down to the 7 or 8 degrees that it went that night. On my neck I had a simple fleece neck warmer, and I had my beanie on my head. The only other item that I did have then was a pair of fingerless gloves, which I did actually take off because they were too warm. And in the night then I actually used earplugs to soften the sound of everything around me to help me sleep. That's another great idea for you to do. Earplugs are really nice because they don't cut out all the noise, so you don't be thinking that you're going to be totally deaf and someone's going to sneak up on you. It's not going to happen. But what it does mean that if you do have a very blustery, windy night, instead of it keeping you awake all night, which it did with Dave, I had a pretty good sleep with that. And then with the beanie then pulled down over my face, I had no problems. Okay, so that was what I slept in. What did I use to sleep with? Then I had my DPM basher. This is just a standard British Army basher that I made an improvised tent out of using my hiking pole. And then I also had this, it's not a space blanket, but it's basically it's a type of silver heat insulating material which we can buy here, and I'm sure you can buy it at most hardware stores and outdoor places now. This one's actually designed for going picnicking with, and you're supposed to put it underneath your picnic blanket to keep the heat reflecting back up and stop you from getting cold on the ground, and that's exactly what it did. This, and then having my blue tarp on the ground itself, and this on top of it made very good insulation from the ground. And then, as I said, having the summer sleeping bag on top of that again, it just gave me that extra bit of padding. The advantage of having this then over having an actual sleeping mat meant then that when I did get a little bit cold from the breeze, I could wrap this again over my Snugpak sleeping bag that I was already sleeping in. Okay, to hold all that down, I had brought with me a variety of basically 550 cord bungee cords and pegs. The pegs that I was using for that night, which I have to clean up now, is these wonderful titanium pegs that I got off the internet, and they worked wonders now. They were really great. They never came out. Okay, other items that I had in the pack with me was my hammock, because as I said, I wasn't too sure where we were going to sleep. Was it going to be in a forest, or was it actually going to be on the mountainside? If it had been the forest and the ground was totally uneven or just bog ridden with water, I would have strung up the hammock and used that, but it was unnecessary. Also, at the end of my backpack, I did have a pair of Gore-Tex socks, again by Berghaus. I've had these for a number of years now, and they have never let me down. But they were not needed because my boots did not fail me, so they were just kind of a backup option. I did also then have a second pair of hiking socks with me, just in case as well. Also in my bag I had a pair of wool gloves and a pair of workman's gloves in case it was needed. Bandana, which you might have seen me wearing at one point as well when I got down lower in the mountain and I didn't need my beanie hat, and of course my baseball cap had got soaking wet the day before. I needed to keep my head a little bit covered, so I used my bandana. Again, they've had this for so many years now and used it so much that it's actually out of shape. It's no longer square, and so it's permanently in a diamond shape. Another wonderful piece of kit, which I haven't done a review on yet, I've kept meaning to get around to doing it, is this Trespass waterproof jacket. I can't remember which brand it is. I bought it 2 years ago in Ireland when I was back there last, and I've been trying it ever since, and I find it wonderful. I'll do a review on that later on if I get time, but that was another great piece of kit which I wore then all day on the Monday on the way back down. On the way up that day I did actually have gaiters on as well. These are the little ankle gaiters, which just keeps the top of your boots dry and the end of your trousers dry as you're hiking. As you can see, they're pretty clean, they didn't get dirty at all, but I didn't use them then on the Monday. Right, moving you over other items that I brought with me. Emergency whistle, that was on my belt at all times and in my pocket. There's no point in having a whistle and it's attached somewhere that you can't get to in an emergency. So if I got separated from my kit or whatever reasons I needed help, that was always with me. Again, something I reviewed in another video. This is my actual map that I had for the area, but this was kept in my Bergen, and a full colour copy and my compass of just the area I was hiking in was kept in my side pocket of my pants at all times, or in my jacket pocket. Again, these are both in Ziploc heavy duty bags to keep them dry in case the weather got really bad. This is another item that I just recently picked up. I wanted to try it out before I gave any type of review on it, because I was, you know, when I do my reviews, I want to make sure that these items actually work. I don't get paid for any of my reviews, and I don't get sponsored, so I want to make sure that the information I'm giving you guys is worth it. And this is just a mini first aid dry sack, which I picked up again off the internet. This part actually reflects in the night time if it's shined upon. It actually does have a piece here that you can actually put a belt loop through, and you can actually put it on your belt. It's not really that big. It fits a mini first aid pack nicely inside. And the other items that I had in it, I had some space blankets, I had my Swiss Army knife, I had my first aid kit, and I had some heat pads, which then also came in handy for me as well. And it just meant that whatever happened, I still had those and everything was still dry. Again, I'll do a full review on this on a later date if I get time. It held up pretty well, it didn't fall apart, and that's the main thing. Okay. as regards to water, I actually brought about, well, I had my old army water bottle which carries at least about 2 quarts in it. I had this other titanium bottle or aluminium bottle which takes about this takes about 1000 milliliters, and these both then keep 500 milliliters, so that's at least about 4 litres of water which I actually brought with me, and I found it quite sufficient for the actual 2 days. I know I drank these two on the way up. I used this for my cooking on Sunday night and Monday morning for my breakfast, and then I actually had a full bottle then for my second hike then on the Monday, which I separated back down to the 2 smaller bottles to keep with me. I do know that Dave did worry about having water with him, but I didn't have any worries at all. I do have the tops for them, just that I've been cleaning them up and they're going to get cleaned up properly and put away. The other item which you've seen in my video was this wonderful little pea bottle. I picked the idea up of Funky Prepper. He always brings a medical type pea bottle with him when he goes camping, and he's right, you know. The worst thing you can do is like at 4 o'clock in the morning have to get out of bed to go for a pee and they get back into bed. It's just, you know. So I went out and got a very cheap water bottle. It's not a very inviting colour and it's got a wide neck on it, so it's quite easy to use. I added some bungee cord to make sure I wasn't going to lose the lid during the night, and then I make sure that it's quite watertight as well, and clearly marked what's inside just in case anyone does find it. Now in an emergency, people have been known to then use these after being filled up, that is, as a heating device inside your sleeping bag. Okay, I know it sounds disgusting, but it does work because your peas is basically core temperature and can be quite warm. It'll help you heat you up. Other item I did bring with me, anyone that knows my videos, I'm not going to take it out, there is a review on this, is the small little hand pump for sterilising water. That did go with me as well, just in case I did need to get any more water. I actually brought 2 torches. One is my Glee torch, which I did a review on before, and the other one is this Surefire torch, which I've had again a number of years. It's extremely bright and extremely useful. Now it came in quite handy because Dave did not bring a torch with him, so I ended up lending him my Glee torch, and I was using my Surefire, which was my backup torch. And as they say, 1 is none, 2 is 1. The knife that I brought with me, I didn't bring any big mad tactical knife or survival knife. I just brought my little Timberline knife, my mini pit bull, and the only thing I really used it for was to open my food bags. Other than that, it was just an emergency. Something that's always kept inside my backpack when I go hiking is the hand crank charger. Got a cable for my phone, and that's just the crank charger itself. I did a review on this as well, so you know, all these items that you're seeing, if you have any questions for them, just check out my videos and you'll see them, because I've done reviews on all these items. Okay. Other things I had with me, of course, my British Bergen longback in olive drab. This fitted everything in it. This was extremely comfortable to wear, and anybody who has one of these will tell you that they're an amazing piece of kit. Like this one is over 30 years old, and you know, it's still going, still functional, and extremely comfortable to wear. I had no problems with it at all. Okay, and as I always do, on the top of this I keep a red light and a white light. Red light on the back, so if I'm traveling at night with cars or people can see me, and a white light in the front so people know which is my front and which is my back. And again, as Dave found out, this then doubles up as my headlamp by using the clip here, just clipping it straight into whatever hat I'm wearing. It gives enough light to actually see what you're doing in front of you. It's not going to light up the whole area or anything like that, but it will give you enough light to work with in night time, and batteries for it are very easy to replace, so the batteries are the same. Attached to my backpack at all times, and also then is my very own personal carabiner, which I've had for again a long time. This one's rated at 2000 payload, so you might need it sometimes. Have those. What I call my poo-poo kit, or whatever you want to call it. Again, my collapsible shovel, which I've done a review on before, and then this is my sanitation kit to go with my poo-poo kit. Hand sanitizers. There is lots and lots of tissues in there, and just thrown in for extra things, I've got some Vaseline and some, again, Vaseline balls to help any type of fire starting that I might need. Okay. Now, you're probably wondering why the hell did I have Vaseline in there. When you're hiking, you can become a bit chapped sometimes around the old groinal area, or even underneath your underarms and stuff like that. So having a bit of Vaseline to put on those, or even on your feet, is always good to have. So remember that. Another item that I bought recently, it's only a cheap thing. It's a water bottle. It carries actually 4 litres of water. It collapses down really small. It's got a nice nozzly head on it. I brought this with me just in case. So the idea was, again, not knowing exactly where we were going to be camping at night time, if I had to, then I could have collected water, brought it back to camp, sterilised it with the hand pump, and then boiled it up and used it. So that was just another way of keeping water with us. For a pair of shoelaces, they don't need any explanation. Tripod for my camera, which I didn't really use except for the videoing on the second day. This you see in my video, it is a very cheap rain cover. It's kind of rubberized on the inside. It's made from ripstop material, and I believe it's supposed to be a Chinese camo, but that doesn't really bother me. Did it work? Well, I didn't really have any rain. We just had very damp weather and everything got wet anyway. So I have to wait to see how this works out before I give a full review on that. The other items that I had with me, I did have my stuff sack. This one is, again, it's a very cheap one by Bluefield. Do I recommend it? This is the extra large size. It just about fits into my Bergen, which works out nice. Now, I've had this one for over a year, and of course the cheap rubberized piece on the inside is starting to rip and tear. But as I said, it was ultra cheap, and it did what it needed to do for the time. Also, the buckle cracked on it. So, right, all this brings me down to what did I use at night time then for cooking. What I brought with me was a very simple Boy Scout billy set. There is another one of these that fits, small one fits inside, also has a lid, but I didn't bring that with me. I just brought the larger size. As you see, these are wet tissues, which I then use for sterilising and cleaning out everything after cooking. You know, if you don't have access to a stream to wash your stuff in, or you're not too sure how clean the water the stream is, having alcohol wipes like this will always come in handy, and then these can be used for not only sterilising your wash kit but also yourself then as well. The other thing I brought with me then also was this pretty large camping cup as well. Again, this was actually a very cheap type of cup that I picked up, which came in really handy because I was able to also then boil water in itself. Like on the Monday morning, I actually just used this to boil water in for my coffee and for my cereal that I had. Again, I had some wet wipes. My old emergency tin of Spam did come with me. I had brought with me some 3-minute pasta, which is really nice. It's just a very small stuff, cooks very well. I had that, and with that then I mixed, I had brought some oil in the bag. Yeah. I brought in some boil in the bag curries, and I also had a beef stew. Again, they only take 3 to 5 minutes. So this in the bowl with the pasta boiling away, it means that once the pasta's done, this is done, and then you can mix them all together and either eat straight out of the bag or eat out of your bowl. Very handy, nice item to have. I did also bring some extra packets of soup with me just in case needed, and I also brought no, I just got the remains of it here. I gotta throw these out, but I kept these for the video. These are a type of sausages, ready to eat sausage that you can have as well. These are all pre-packed and sealed away. It's a nice little thing you can have with you. Of course, some lighters, my old trusty plastic spoon. In this one then I have another full cutlery set. I have a coffee spoon. I have my camp handle, which I can then use on my cup or on my billy set or anything like that. If it gets too hot, it's really nice. I bring some extra spoons just in case I meet somebody or need them, and I brought some rock salt with me. Now, having salt when you go out hiking is very important, especially if you're sweating a lot, and I sweated a lot on the Sunday, which meant that my legs had cramped up because I wasn't able to take any type of food intake on that route march that we did, and so to replenish the salt that my body needed, I was very thankful that I had brought this rock salt with me. So it's another nice handy tip for you guys. Also my pack, I just had this little survival tin. It's got some band-aids in it, a sharpening stone and a wire saw, and there's a little mini fishing kit. Just some backup stuff that I always have hidden throughout my kit. It's just me. Also, you see in my video I had these glow sticks. I actually brought 3 with me all together, and this one I never used. I'll keep this one for later on. They're supposed to be good up to between 6 to 8 hours. I found that the glow sticks that I had were good up to at least 24 hours. They were still glowing when I got back on the Tuesday, for Tuesday night. Now they weren't an amazing glow, but they still gave you a marker if you need be. So glow sticks are really good. Just in case needed, I got some cable ties. Again, there was some cotton wool balls which we did use when lighting our campfire, and I had brought a gas system. This gas system actually was given to me by my mother-in-law. She used to use it. It's a lovely little camping set. It's got its own starter on it which still works, and it just meant I had no worries about cooking up food, heating up a coffee, anything like that on the trail or anywhere needed. So that was my cook system all ready to go. This bag is my coffee bag. What I actually have in here actually was some of the wax fuel tablets which I had shown in another video, and as you can see we used a lot of them on the Monday night getting our fire started with that weird dry wood that was up there. Milk powder, coffee, sugar need to replace, some wire wool for if I did need to clean my pots and pans, but again another type of fire starter if needed, using with a battery, and some tea bags just in case I ran out of coffee. And anyone recognize this from one of my videos? It's the mini windshield. Not that it will work with this gas system because it's too small. It's really actually for an alcohol stove, but I had it just in case. You never know what these things can come in handy for. Even as a base to set stuff up on, it can be used. So as I said, that was my coffee set. Goes in there. Oh, and packet of Suki blueberry sweets. just to give me some glucose while on the hike. When taking my camp down, being the old Boy Scout that I am, I walked my site to make sure I hadn't forgotten anything, and I found this spoon while I was up there. It's a perfectly good spoon, there's nothing wrong with it, and somebody had lost it, so I kindly retrieved it, brought it home, cleaned it up, and this will now go into my pack as another one of my spare spoons. I feel that this was my little souvenir for my hike, and I'll always remember my Shiga hike every time I see this spoon. As I said, it's a perfectly good spoon, it's not busted or in any way, not damaged, and there's no point in wasting good items. Right, so that was just a quick overview of all the items I brought with me. The only item I didn't show you was a pair of Berghaus waterproof pants, which I don't have here because they're actually packed in my EDC pack, which I use every day with me. But besides that, this is everything that I brought on the hike for those 2 days. It was a lot of kit and way too much, so in the next video I'll make, we'll show you exactly what I should have brought for that type of overnight stay if I had known where I was going and the actual layout of the land. So in future, if I do that hike again, what I would bring for such a hike. So stay tuned for that video. Hope this video has been helpful. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram as well, and always remember, be prepared.